It's a 130-year-old tradition that's as San Antonio as it gets. And prior to last year, Fiesta had only been canceled during World Wars I and II. That's why this moment in March of 2020 was such a shock to the city.
Concerns over the coronavirus also forcing the city to postpone Fiesta.
The mayor and the Fiesta Commission tell me that the top factor in their decision to postpone Fiesta is the public's health and safety.
Fiesta didn't happen in 2020, but to the delight and excitement of so many, it is happening in 2021. And while things won't look exactly the way they did the last Fiesta, a lot of the traditions that we look forward to year after year will be going strong. Because we have a Fiesta to look forward to this year, we're taking a look at why we celebrate this party with a purpose the way that we do, and learning the stories behind some of the most popular Fiesta traditions.
KSAT Explains.
KSAT Explains. KSAT Explains.
KSAT Explains. On-demand, in-depth perspective. Perspective on stories we bring you in our newscasts throughout the day. We're looking into concerns over voting safety during a pandemic and the battle over mail-in voting. A look at how the protests and demonstrations have played out in our city, and an examination of what it means to be black in San Antonio.
An issue that you have likely felt the effects of, rising property taxes.
The roots of Tejano run deep in South Texas. We examine the cultural impact the music has had in San Antonio.
This week's episode of KSAT Explains is all about the why behind San Antonio's favorite Fiesta tradition.
It is the biggest party in San Antonio, Fiesta, roughly 2 weeks where it seems the entire city comes together to have a good time with parades, flower crowns, bright colors, cascarones, and don't forget the food. And these days there is just about a Fiesta event in every corner of town, something for everyone. But do you know how this Alamo City tradition came about? How did Fiesta become our thing? The kings, the queens, the medals. That's what we're taking a look at in this episode of KSAT Explains. And we learned that Fiesta history starts with Alamo history. In 1891, a group of women came together with a plan, a way to honor the heroes of the battles at the Alamo and San Jacinto. That's how the Battle of Flowers parade was born. The Fiesta Commission describes it as horse-drawn carriages, bicycles decorated with fresh flowers, and floats carrying children dressed as flowers. Today, the Battle of Flowers parade is the largest of Fiesta. The only parade in the country bigger than Battle of Flowers is the Tournament of Roses parade, and it still pays homage to the heroes of those famous Texas fights, as the parade route runs right in front of the Alamo. The event is the only one of its kind put on by all women who are all volunteers. The parade has certainly blossomed over the last 130 years, but way back then, it was an immediate success. So then it became a party. As the years passed, more events were added.
Those events began to grow around that parade, and it got bigger and bigger and bigger.
The Battle of Flowers parade had been rooted in San Antonio, and then came royalty, at least as far as Fiesta is concerned. The idea of unofficial royalty in San Antonio actually predates Fiesta.
Prior to the very first Battle of Flowers parade in 1891, we used to have the Spring Carnival, which was sponsored by local businessmen here in San Antonio, and they would crown unofficially royalty. And so there were occasionally kings and queens associated with the carnival.
The early kings were given some creative names. King Selamot, that's tamales spelled backwards, or Omala, Alamo spelled backwards. In 1909, the ladies started to rule over Fiesta. That's the year the Order of the Alamo was founded.
And the Order of the Alamo was really solidifying crowning a queen. And so there are other queens that predate the Order of the Alamo, but this was the first time that they said, this is the queen specifically for Fiesta.
The Order of the Alamo selects a queen and her court each year. That includes a princess and 24 duchesses, 12 from in town and 12 from out of town. Their gowns, elaborate, elegant, and often displaying a theme.
We've got an incredible industry here in San Antonio of these couture dressmakers that many people don't know about, that hand make these gowns. Each one is custom designed for the woman who's wearing it, and their skills and technique along with the materials that they're using, have really elevated this to a true art form.
In 1926, the Texas Cavaliers came along, a civic organization today dedicated to raising money for children's charities. But they started out as a social club looking to preserve the history of bravery and independence that the Alamo heroes fought and died for. The Cavaliers' signature look, those royally recognizable blue and red uniforms. They crowned their first King Antonio to preside over Fiesta in 1927. 20 years later, Fiesta added a second king to its royal ranks, El Rey Feo.
But then in 1947, a group of businessmen here in San Antonio felt like they wanted to make sure that all cultures were involved in San Antonio, and came up with the idea of Rey Feo. Rey Feo, what it was historically it come from Spain, where in Spain, the King of Spain would have his events, and the peasants out in the streets would have their own celebration, and they would crown somebody Rey Feo, and as a result, would have their own event and their own parades. And so little by little, in 1947, these businessmen created that, and it got bigger and bigger and bigger. And now we have two kings that preside over Fiesta.
Serna himself served as El Rey Feo in 2010, coming full circle from the time he spent as a kid watching the Fiesta parades.
Back then, you could pull out lawn chairs, sit down, and just wait for the parade to start. As traffic went by, you wait till So my parents used to send me down there with a wagon, load it up, and go get a spot for the family.
To presiding over the festivities as a king.
To be in that parade as Rey Feo, it was great to have my mom there and my family there watching me. It was something I'm proud of, and I'm still proud of.
Every year, the Rey Feo Consejo Educational Foundation and the city partner up to put on Fiesta De Los Reyes right here in Market Square. And that's one of the events that will be happening during Fiesta 2021. Today, there are 9 members of official Fiesta royalty.
Almost every organization has their own royalty, and to be inclusive of over 100 different royal traditions would be quite difficult. So the Fiesta Commission did limit it to 9 official royal traditions, but that doesn't mean that we don't have other Fiesta royalty. They're just not recognized in terms of being represented at all of the events.
Each king and queen serve 1 year with the duties of supporting charitable organizations that benefit San Antonio. The biggest crowds catch the kings and queens riding and waving along the parade routes. In 1941, one of those routes became a river. The Texas Cavaliers kicked off their first ever river parade that year after some of the organization traveled to Mexico and saw the beautifully decorated barges in the so-called floating gardens of Mexico City. The Cavaliers brought the idea back home, all coinciding with the restoration project along the San Antonio River. And then there were 3. 7 years later, Fiesta Flambeau was born. Looking to stand out from the Battle of Flowers Parade and River Parade, Flambeau would be an illuminated night parade. Reynolds Andrix, known as a Fiesta entrepreneur, came up with the idea. He used the night parades of Mardi Gras in New Orleans as his inspiration. In those early days, torch brigades were used to light the night, groups of men carrying 5-foot poles with flares attached. Flambeau has certainly come a long way, and today is known as America's largest illuminated night parade, put on by the Fiesta Flambeau Parade Association. There are so many other events in between the parades that draw crowds from across the city. One of the most popular, Niosa, or is it Niosa?
Do you say Fiesta or do you say Fiesta? So for me, it's Niosa because it's Fiesta.
That good old debate continues, but what we do know is Night in Old San Antonio stands out as a Fiesta favorite.
We just want you to come. You can say it however you want to, Niosa, Niosa, a Night in Old San Antonio.
An abridged version of Night in Old San Antonio is another one of the Fiesta events coming back in 2021. It didn't start out as part of Fiesta, though. The Conservation Society of San Antonio held its first one-night street fair in 1938, called the Indian Festival. modeled after the fiestas of the early days of San Antonio. The event went by a few different names in the beginning, but then in 1946, the city asked the Conservation Society to make the event officially part of Fiesta. It was called A Night in Old San Antonio for the first time in 1948. Typically, it's a 4-night festival in the heart of downtown that raises roughly $1 million, funding the mission of the Conservation Society to help preserve historic buildings, parks, places, and customs in Texas. One of the things to love most about Fiesta is how it brings together people from all parts of our city. And at Niosa, they all have one thing in common no matter where they're from. They're hungry. The Conservation Society says every year crowds eat roughly 17,000 pounds of beef, 11,000 pounds of chicken, 3,000 turkey legs, 30,000 tortillas, 6,000 tamales, and 1,000 pounds of guacamole. We all know San Antonio loves some good food and a good time, but a good cause to go along with it, that's even better. That's what Fiesta is all about. It's called the Party with a Purpose. In between those big parades, there are days of events that benefit nonprofits with various causes all throughout the city. But just because it's a party doesn't mean there's not a process to becoming an official Fiesta event. Brina Monterosa explains.
Fiesta has evolved into a 10-day event with 115 participating member organizations.
10 days, 115 organizations. They're all 501c3 nonprofits benefiting the community. From raising money for Alzheimer's research to protecting animals and so many causes in between.
We often forget the side where this is an opportunity for not just the people of San Antonio, but for all the people who come to our city from outside of San Antonio to participate in Fiesta, to contribute to these multiple organizations that aid our community, whether they are contributing to scholarship funds or to social services.
Fiesta is probably the most prolific event for nonprofits in the world.
Nonprofits apply to the Fiesta Commission to become a participating member organization of Fiesta. The commission evaluates an event over 3 years. If, after those 3 years, the Fiesta Commission signs off a group's participation, their event becomes officially part of Fiesta. Organizations have to continually go through an accreditation process.
And we're always checking your accreditation. But every year, each PMO, which is short for participating member organization, what they do is they turn in a budget for their event, what it's going to cost them, what they intend to make profit-wise, and what their intended purpose is for their nonprofit. And so that's every year.
So how does the Fiesta Commission make sure the money raised by organizations is being put to good use? Tax records.
Everyone has to file a 990 every year and show where your money's going. And so if you're not a member in good standing with your 990, then we can assume that you're not using your money properly.
For many nonprofits, Fiesta is their biggest fundraiser. The Conservation Society of San Antonio says the money it raises during Fiesta goes back into the community and helps keep San Antonio a world-class city for locals and tourists alike.
For us, A Night in Old San Antonio is the largest event for a nonprofit that specializes in preservation in the world because of what we do with the funds that we receive and the preservation that we've been able to preserve so many things over the past 97 years. And it's not just buildings. It's, like I said, it's the cultural heritage. It's the things that make San Antonio unique for all the many visitors that come here.
Having a wide variety of nonprofits participate in Fiesta has provided something for just about everyone to enjoy, and on just about every side of town.
There are events for young children, if you're looking for things that are accessible, or if you're looking for things that are for seniors, or whatever it is that you're passionate about, if you're passionate about art or music, there's something that different people can relate to.
As Fiesta grew, more nonprofits wanted to participate in Fiesta. And so the way it expanded was, well, a certain group wasn't going to have an event on a certain day, let's say like the day of the parade. They were going to compete with the parade because they knew everybody was going to be at the parade. So they began to pick out days, and then the calendar just kind of filled itself out. And so now you have, starting on Thursday, this year, June 17th, that runs all the way to the 27th, you have a variation of different events that you can go to. Even though there's only 50 this year, there's still a lot you can do in that 10-day period.
Only 50 this year because of COVID. Fiesta, which normally happens in the spring, was pushed to November in 2020 because of the pandemic. But ultimately, that fall date was canceled. It was scheduled for the spring of 2021, but now pushed to summer, June 17th through the 27th.
We know the stories of these nonprofits that are suffering, who haven't been able to have Fiesta for close to 2 years now, and they need this desperately.
A need in our community that this party with a purpose helps fulfill. And on top of an incredibly trying past year, Cerna, along with much of San Antonio, is eager to see this year's event get underway.
I'll probably cry that day because it's been a task.
We can't talk Fiesta without talking medals. They are a truly unique Fiesta signature. Just about every organization taking part in Fiesta has one. And sometimes it's not groups, but people themselves making their own medals to represent themselves with their own bit of Fiesta flair. They are swapped, sold, and collected, and they can be just about anything anyone imagines. RJ Marquez explains how medals became a Fiesta must-have.
For many San Antonians, these are the heart of Fiesta. These bright and shiny trinkets are arguably as popular as the Fiesta parades and events, with people going all out to wear, collect, and trade them.
But I've heard there's people that actually weigh their medals to see who has the heaviest.
According to one of the city's biggest medal producers, that rumor is true.
We hosted the Fiesta Medal Weigh-In, where people collect as many medals as they can, and whoever weighs the most with the largest collection ends up winning. I want to say the winner is typically around 1,500 Fiesta medals.
The history of the Fiesta medal can be traced to 1946, when King Antonio started giving coins to children at events. Then in 1971, King Antonio 49, Charles Orsinger, handed out what was considered to be the first official Fiesta medal. Before that, only Fiesta royalty wore the medals, but once introduced to the general public, they quickly exploded in popularity.
In the early days, not every organization had a medal. Now it's almost like if you're a PMO, participating organization, you're expected to have a medal.
Husband and wife Natasha and Albert Gonzalez are both San Antonio natives.
You know, we've been going to Fiesta since we could walk.
They started their Fiesta medal making business, Mira Medals, in 2017, but they are also collectors. Natasha Gonzalez says the designs are only getting more creative.
They're getting bigger every year, and they're getting more intricate every year. And so it's become a form of art at this point.
Gonzalez has hundreds of medals, including one showing the King of Country, George Strait, and one of the Queen of Tejanos, Selena. But like most collectors, she has her favorites, like this Godzilla-themed medal that was designed for her son by a famous comic book artist.
But it means so much to my son, just the pure enjoyment he gets from handing them out to other kids and people at events. That makes it all for me. So.
And then there's this La Llorona medal that moves and makes noise.
She goes up and down a river, right? She's crying for her kids. So what we did, we made her move, and then we said, well, how can we bump this up? So we reached out to different manufacturers and we said, can we just sound on the ribbon? And they said, actually, yes.
Gonzalez says spotting new and interesting medals is a science.
If there's one that I don't know, I will definitely say, where did you get that? You know, how do I get it? How much was it? And also I ask, who does it support? Because it is important for me to know where the money is going.
And that's another big part of the Fiesta Medal Mania. Medals can be made to promote a business or just for fun, but many are created to help local nonprofits and charities in the San Antonio area. So think of it this way, when you're buying a medal like one of these right here, not only are you adding to your collection, but you're also giving back to this citywide party with a purpose.
It's a cool way to, give back to different companies and organizations, and then them provide you with something that's cool and unique for exchange for doing that.
Monarch Trophy Studio makes thousands of medals a year for Fiesta.
People continue to come up with new ideas. It really just pushes the limits further with the Fiesta medals.
President of Monarch Trophy, Charles Drago, says that while the pandemic obviously hurt business, customers adjusted and came up with ideas to use their 2020 medals, even though last year's event was canceled.
After this Fiesta, we'll see a resurgence of, returning to normal and people really getting back to collecting and trading the medals like they did in the past. A lot of people in the community are missing Fiesta. I'm super excited that they're going to be able to allow some events to go on this year.
So even though Fiesta won't be 100% back to normal this year, the medal tradition is back for Fiesta 2021.
Each one means so much to that person. So to know that when you're buying something, not only are you helping financially, but you're helping somebody by just knowing that, you like what they have. And that means a lot to people.
Whether you are an expert level Fiesta goer or perhaps a little bit more unfamiliar with the event, we hope that you learned something about why San Antonio celebrates Fiesta the way that we do. Thanks for joining us for this episode of KSAT Explains. I'm Myra Arthur. We'll see you next week.